Good morning on what is a warm, grey and cloudy day. It is Friday the 23rd of June. I've got a nice hot cup of tea and parcel to unbox. And what I've got in here is a copy of Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson. Now, I was attracted by this in the bookshop for one reason only, the very vibrantly pink cover. And then, so, it got my attention. I walked over and had a look, and I thought, well, that looks interesting. Not necessarily for me, but for my partner, which led to an interesting encounter recently where she was looking at this book now in paperback and going, oh, that looks interesting, and I'm going, yeah, you can't buy that, because knowing that I had this on order. So through joining Her Majesty's Royal Coven, you can become part of an illustrious witching legacy stretching back to her founding sister Anne Boleyn. We serve Gaia through service to the planet, the country, Her Majesty, Her Royal Majesty, the Queen, and the people. We work as a team to support the UK government in handling of supernormal events and incidences, to uphold the tradition of witchcraft in the United Kingdom and to safeguard our continued legacy. Her Majesty's Royal Coven is a place for women and girls to reach their full potential, develop their gifts, and enjoy the protection and assistance that only an official coven can provide. So, hidden among us is a secret coven of witches. Known as Her Majesty's Royal Coven, they protect crown and country from magical forces and otherworldly evil. But their greatest enemy will come from within. There are whisperings of a prophecy that will bring the coven to its knees, and four best friends are about to be caught at the centre. Will Helena, Neve, Leone and will Helena, Neve, Leone and Elle be able to obstruct the prophecy before it's too late? Or will the differences that have seen them grow apart since childhood be too great to overcome? Life as a modern witch was never simple, but now it's about to get apocalyptic. Prepare to be bewitched by Juno Dawson's first adult series, a story about ancient prophecies of modern dating, of sacred sisterhood and demonic frenemies. So that's an interesting setup. I mean, what we've got here is a kind of urban fantasy novel, so essentially set in the modern day. You'll find there's sort of like there's a definite kind of split between in terms of the urban fantasy kind of stories. You have those set during the Victorian era, for example, like the works of Gail Carriger and other authors, essentially, or that kind of verge, sort of mix up magic, verge a little bit on the steampunk as well. And then you've got the more modern tradition. So here in the UK, when you think of urban fantasy, you're going to think of Charles Stross and the Trusty Archives, which are more horror than urban, basically a more urban horror or Lovecraftian kind of horror, but they are set mostly in an urban situation. Ben Aronovich's Rivers of London series, which is really ongoing with sort of like 10 novels and novellas, and also graphic novels and a role-playing game, all of which the role-playing game I've unboxed, and the like. But this is from an entirely different perspective. So if you almost think of, say for example, if you compare it with Rivers of London, that's magic from a Hermetic tradition, a more wizardly tradition, and a more male tradition, and even with Thomas Nightingale's background of actually going to a school, boarding school, where they were taught the arts of magic. It's all very sort of kind of male focused in terms of its magic at this point. There are female characters in the book who can perform magic as well, but descended from Isaac Newton, it's theories of Isaac Newton, it is very much a male province in the book, and that's not a criticism, because that's part of the background, and other characters are there using magic as well. So this is from a female perspective. It's about female characters. It is in generally using, you know, the story is about involving magic, typically used by women, and you know, or seen as being used by women, the equivalent of a male, which is a warlock, of course. So that's going to, you know, is it attract a different audience? I mean, yes, to a certain extent, yes. But it doesn't mean that, you know, that you can't read this and enjoy it if, you know, whatever you know, gender you are. I'm not saying this is entirely a book for women, but I'm just saying that's the kind of viewpoint it's written from, because the characters are female. So yeah, you know, it. We have a, you know, so I've got a repeat of the sort of the front cover. And got most of all the fiction by Juno Dawson. We even have places of supernatural interest. Got a nice little map there, basically a bit of geographical context at least. Interestingly, we have this is looking for an interesting sort. It starts off, welcome to Hebden Bridge. Now that's an interesting starting point, because Hebden Bridge is actually more recently notable for as the setting of, I think, the television series Happy Valley. If you've not seen it, it's terrific, really good storytelling. You know, with a good, strong female character played by Sarah Lancashire, about, you know, a police sergeant, you know, on the beat, and some of the cases she has to work, and it's entirely kind of grim, but funny. So that's an interesting place to set it. Here we have basically nicely done kind of letter. You can imagine sort of you doing this in a role playing, you do it as a handout. And then we get into the main core of the book and see if there's any other highlights in terms of sort of, you know, just thumb through. And I'm not seeing anything like that in there, but that's fine. You know, you're not getting anything. So yeah. So it's, you get down to 450 pages long. Acknowledgements at the end there, and that's it. And you've got the author's blurb at the back there. So yeah, that's Her Majesty's Royal Coven, which my partner will be reading fairly soon, I should imagine. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a package containing a book or game, which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing of the Nook. I will be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.